Next shocking revelation. Menglong was told the date of his death, counting the days in fear? Today, commentator Li Myung revealed another shocking twist in the Menglong case. According to an insider, before his death, Menglong was told the exact date he would die, forced to live each moment in terror, counting down to his end. When the final order came from above, he was brutally killed. The scene mirrors the tragic death of actor Chow Renliang 9 years ago. In detail, a self-proclaimed paparazzo exposed that during Yu's 12 years at Tianyu Media, he had countless chances to rise to stardom, but the company blocked him every time. The post said, "This damned company never let him shine." Each time one of Yu's dramas gained attention, instead of promoting him, Tianyu's PR team bought smear articles to ignite online attacks. The pattern was both unusual and deliberate, and it raised a question: why would a company sabotage its own artist? Commentator Li Myung then cited a screenshot from a Bilibili post that paints a terrifying picture. The post detailed how a group of perpetrators planned Menglong's suffering step by step, each step announced to him in advance. They threatened him through the people he loved most, forbidding him from ending his ordeal and forcing him to endure every moment of dread. To shorten his torment, he stopped eating. To avoid being humiliated, he stayed up every night to defend himself. The text described threats, coercion, and relentless torment, and mentioned one ugly man with a square, pockmarked face and shifty eyes, said to be the spark that ignited everything. It began with him, and soon others joined in, forcing Menglong to accompany him against his will. Yu resisted, and by accident, uncovered critical evidence. He kept it to protect himself, but the more he discovered, the closer danger crept. When the ugly man realized what Yu knew, he reported it to higher authorities. Orders were then issued from above, giving the group total protection. They became fearless, planning and executing their scheme openly. First, a woman appeared, a female neighbor who posed as sympathetic to gain Yu's trust. Out of kindness, he helped her multiple times. Later, she lured him into an online group, where he eventually discovered plans being made against him, and that the real target was himself. The post further revealed that it was a person returning from overseas who proposed letting Yu know his own death date, forcing him to count his final days in fear. The methods were described as cruel beyond imagination. From these descriptions, it's clear Menglong's death was not spontaneous, but organized, premeditated, and ritualized, a prolonged mix of psychological and physical torment. These demons trapped him in despair, forcing him to experience death while still alive. This was not ordinary violence, it was a structured system of evil. And it all began with that ugly man, identified by insiders as Cheng Qingsong, known for his predatory behavior. Yu had resisted him repeatedly, and in doing so, accidentally uncovered evidence, believed to involve money laundering and arms trading. Yu reportedly stored the files on a USB drive, as we've mentioned many times before, but the perpetrators discovered it. The ugly man informed those above, and the chain of command was activated. So who were those above? The insider didn't name them, but online reports claimed that Ji Guangguang, whose real name is Li Ming, was a grandson of former Premier Li Peng, and that the Chai family included Kai Chi's illegitimate child, Kai Yijia. Another mysterious figure, Xin Qi, whom we have reported on many times, was rumored to have ties to the CCP elite, possibly even a distant relative of Xi Jinping. Once the order came down, the perpetrators acted without restraint. One of the overseas returnees proposed that Menglong be told the exact date of his death, turning his final days into a living countdown of fear. Records show that 2 of those involved had foreign backgrounds. Producer Fang Li, rumored cousin of Kai Chi, who studied for an MBA at Wake Forest University in the US, and Song Yiren, who immigrated to Canada at age 8. Some claim her real name is Yamashima Kazuhito, of Japanese origin. The most chilling part? These perpetrators didn't simply kill Menglong, they turned his suffering into an art form, forcing him to feel every second of death before it arrived. There are no words strong enough to describe such evil. This is beyond human cruelty. It is demonic. And tragically, this is believed to be the same pattern that had surfaced 9 years earlier, when Qiao Renliang met his own horrific end. For years, these monstrous criminals have walked free, untouched by the law, despite their countless atrocities. But now, as the truth begins to surface, the public is stunned to learn that the so-called taking own life cases and falls, attributed to depression among many Chinese artists, were nothing but fabricated lies. Behind these suspicious deaths lies the hidden hand of powerful figures within the highest ranks of the Chinese Communist Party. Next, we turn to the mysterious death of the legendary singer Coco Lee, known to millions as the Queen of Mandopop. Before we move on, I just want to share something real quick. YouTube hasn't been recommending our channel much lately, so if you've made it this far, drop this icon in the comments. It really helps us beat the algorithm. You can also find it in the description below if you want to copy it easily. Together, we can get past the censorship and let more people see the truth. Coco Lee's death tied to dark secrets in China's entertainment industry. A hidden network of high-ranking CCP figures emerges. The Menglong case was more than a death. It cracked open the curtain on the hidden machinery driving China's entertainment world. As the story spread, whispers began aligning across the industry. Powerful elites were quietly pulling the strings. One figure, the so-called poet Zhao Lihua, leapt to defend the villains in the Menglong case. Her arrogance stunned the public when she declared, "Just you? Even 100 million of you, combined, couldn't stir up the slightest wave." Her defiance didn't just spark outrage, it fueled suspicions that she had unintentionally spoken a deeper truth, that behind China's showbiz incidents lies a massive, untouchable force few dare confront. And into this growing storm came new revelations. According to the independent program Weiyu Looks at the World, singer Coco Lee had once crossed paths with a powerful figure, one she should never have offended. Her management company released an official statement claiming that on July 2, 2023, Coco Lee ended her own life at home following severe depression and passed away despite emergency efforts. Her second sister, Nancy Lee, echoed that version immediately. Yet Nancy never disclosed the full details. She instead hinted at disturbing inconsistencies. Coco had vomiting symptoms that resembled poisoning, while her wrist wounds were so light they could not have been fatal. Official reports from Chinese authorities and Hong Kong media later concluded that Coco's death resulted from suffocation, her airway blocked by vomit. But this story had roots long before that day. 2 years earlier, Coco had publicly accused the producers of The Voice of China of humiliation, unfair treatment, and deep-seated corruption within the show. Then, in 2023, a leaked recording revealed the full picture. Coco described her worsening health, battling depression, breast cancer, and a leg injury that left her unable to stand unaided. She protested against unfair scoring and demanded transparency, only to be told such topics were off limits. Her words, she insisted, were true, but they were cut from the broadcast. What happened next looked like retaliation. During a duet performance with trainee Wang Zipeng, Coco and Wang had agreed he would help her onto the stage. Yet the program team deliberately changed his position, turning him away from her. Wearing 7-inch heels, Coco was left alone under the spotlight and fell before the entire audience. No one moved to help her. Only mentor Fish Long stepped forward, and she was immediately reprimanded by the staff. Wang later revealed he hadn't known about the stage changes. Their communication had been cut off and their phones confiscated. Leaked audio painted an even darker picture. Coco had once been physically dragged off stage by the director's assistant. These repeated humiliations crushed her spirit. Still, she continued speaking out, and her courage sparked a massive backlash against the Voice of China. Yet her defiance also placed her directly in the crosshairs of people absolutely could not offend. Wang Zipeng later shared their chat records, where Coco confessed that the director was deliberately tormenting her, the most vicious she'd ever met in her 28-year career. Even then, she held on to one belief, that evil would ultimately face retribution. But The Voice of China was no ordinary show. It was a cultural juggernaut for young Chinese audiences, produced by Canjing Culture under Star China Media, a joint venture between China Media Capital (CMC) and Australia's News Corporation. While CMC's chairman is officially Li Ruigong, the real power sits behind the scenes, with Li Tong, eldest daughter of Li Changchun, the former CCP propaganda chief. With Li Changchun shaping China's national ideology, it was no surprise that Li Tong's empire centered entirely on media. Commentator Wei Yu, later Ruigong's name appeared in documents linked to the Menglong case, though few noticed. His role, Wei Yu said, was far from minor, and his connection to Coco Lee's death, impossible to ignore. Li Ruigong and Li Tong were reportedly so close they were described as almost like a married couple. After meeting her, his rise was meteoric. He became a central figure in Shanghai's broadcasting system, and, in his early 40s, served as director of the Shanghai Municipal Committee's general office. Without Li Tong, he might have remained a bureaucrat. But instead, he became the financial core of the Li Changchun family. Though Li Tong had no background in media, she refused to relinquish her senior position at BOC International in Hong Kong, an international securities and investment banking arm of the Bank of China. Instead, she positioned Li Ruigong at the helm of what was branded as China's leading cultural industry investment fund, while she quietly held the reins behind the scenes. Protected from above, Li Ruigong managed to serve in government while simultaneously chairing a private equity fund, a dual role possible only with high-level approval. In 2015, he left government service entirely, devoting himself to Li Tong's cultural investment network and relocating to Hong Kong, where he became a powerful investor. Thanks to Li Changchun's influence, The Voice of China secured 60 million yuan, about $8.4 million USD, in sponsorship from Jieduobao, a well-known Chinese beverage brand. Ad slots sold for 360,000 yuan, around 50,000 USD, per 15 seconds. The profits were staggering. The show's first season alone generated 1.7 billion yuan, roughly 239 million USD, in advertising revenue, not counting the vast earnings from signing contestants, touring performances, music academies, concerts, and the entire entertainment chain that followed. Li Ruigong even diverted another 1.7 billion yuan from Shanghai Media Group to Zhejiang Satellite TV, inflating the show's valuation. The Voice of China became a goldmine. But that empire collapsed when Coco Lee fought back. Would Li Ruigong and Li Tong simply let her go? There is still no definitive evidence, yet the possibility that her death was far from a simple, depression-related incident continues to haunt the story. To understand the power behind it all, one must look to Li Changchun himself. From 1987 to 1990, he served as deputy party secretary and acting governor of Liaoning. In 1990, he was transferred to Henan, where he quickly rose. Deputy party secretary, vice governor, acting governor, then governor in 1991, and party secretary in 1992, becoming the province's true ruler. Seeking favor with then CCP leader Jiang Zemin, he strengthened ties through Jia Ting'an, earning further promotion. But his governance left a haunting mark, a so-called plasma economy based on selling blood, which infected countless rural citizens with HIV. The government covered it up for years, only acknowledging it publicly in 2001. Despite this catastrophe, Li Changchun's career soared. He went on to serve as Guangdong Party secretary and later as a member of the Politburo Standing Committee. Rumors persist that he left office with vast personal wealth. And in the closing words of Wei Yu, Li Changchun's shadow stretches even further, into the mysterious death of Chu Feng, known as the most handsome monk of the Shaolin Temple. Wei Yu claimed that Chu Feng was framed and eliminated by Shi Yongshan, the abbot of Shaolin, and behind Shi Yongshan stood Li Changchun himself. According to several public reports, Li Changchun maintained a close relationship with Shi Yongshan. The abbot, who was investigated and detained in July 2025 on allegations of embezzlement, improper relationships, and violations of Buddhist discipline. Their connection dates back to Li Changchun's tenure as party secretary of Henan province from 1992 to 1998, during which Shi Yongxin was rapidly rising to prominence as the head of the Shaolin Temple. In commentator Wei Yu's words, those in China's entertainment world who refuse to obey, or those chosen as targets, all meet a tragic end. And right when the dust hasn't settled, another bombshell drops. Homosexual dating app flags as Zhongnanhai IP. Who is it? According to the Vision Times, a major scandal has erupted after China's Cyberspace Administration ordered Apple to remove the homosexual dating apps Blued and Finka from the App Store in China. The ban came right after Blued was traced to an IP address located inside Zhongnanhai, the top CCP leadership compound in Beijing, igniting a storm of speculation online. Netizens are asking, could the user be Xi Jinping, Li Chang, Zhao Leiji, Wang Huning, or Kai Chi? YouTuber Financial Cold Eye noted that homosexuality is not only widespread in China's entertainment industry, but also among elite figures inside Zhongnanhai. He suggested the CCP's real motive goes beyond morality. It's panic over China's plunging birth rate. With people increasingly avoiding marriage and parenthood, and both feminism and homosexuality on the rise, the regime fears it may soon run out of a population to control, prompting its crackdown on both movements. According to data from the International Gay and Lesbian Commission, China had around 70 million homosexuals in 2020, including 45 million men and 25 million women, roughly 5% of the population, a number that continues to rise each year. The latest app purge triggered a wave of ridicule from mainland netizens. Officials are allowed to set fires, but ordinary people can't light lamps. Zhongnanhai is the biggest den of debauchery. All those big bosses prefer men. One user went further. If the CCP wants to crack down on homosexuals, then start with the top. Expose the entertainment industry's big bosses. If they can't do that, it's meaningless. Another added, they should first arrest Chen Qingsong, Xin Qi, and that gang of perverted murderers behind Yu Menglong's death. Those people are guilty beyond redemption. Both Blued and Finka are Hong Kong-based platforms. Blued, with over 50 million users worldwide, was once China's most influential gay dating app. But now, both apps have vanished from Apple and Android stores, along with Grindr and even the WeChat account of the overseas group Chinese Rainbow Alliance, whose content was completely deleted. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to drop this icon in the comments to help us beat the YouTube algorithm. If you found this analysis valuable, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future updates. Thanks for watching. See you next time.